Hello, kids. Welcome back to my living room where we love to read books. And today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to read a book called All the Places to Love. And the reason we chose this book is number one, the illustrations are beautiful paintings, and I know a lot of you like to draw and do art. And number two, All the Places to Love looks like the place where we live. So this book is written by a woman named Patricia MacLachlan, and the wonderful paintings we're about to see were painted by a fella named Mike Wimmer. Here we go. On the day I was born, my grandmother wrapped me in a blanket made from the wool of her sheep. She held me up in the open window so that what I heard first was the wind. What I saw first were all the places to love. The valley, the river falling down over the rocks, the hilltop where blueberries grew. My grandfather was painting the barn, and when he saw me, he cried. He carved my name, Eli, on a rafter beside his name and grandmother's name and the names of my papa and my mama. Hey, wait a minute. I have a little guy named Eli in Mrs. Snow's class who sits right up front. Eli, is this book about you? Perhaps we'll find out. Mama carried me on her shoulders before I could walk through the meadows and the hayfields. The cows watched us and the sheep scattered. The dogs ran ahead, looking back with sly smiles. When the grass was high, only their tails showed. Look at this beautiful painting, and this dog, which looks like a golden retriever, is actually smiling. When I was older, Papa and I plowed the fields. Where else is the soil so sweet, he said. Once Papa and I lay down in the field, holding hands, and the birds surrounded us. Raucous black grackles, redwings, crows in the dirt that swaggered like pirates. When we left, Papa put a handful of dirt in his pocket. I did too. And look at these birds. Crow, a grackle, and here's a red-winged blackbird. We have these birds right out that window in our field. I bet you do too. Oh, my grandmother loved the river best of all the places to love. That sound, like a whisper, she said, gathering in pools where trout flashed like jewels in the sunlight. Grandmother sailed little bark boats downriver to me with messages. I love you, Eli, one said. Here's a little boat made out of bark, and his grandmother put a piece of paper with I love you, Eli, on it for sale. Sent it down the river to Eli. Whoop, sorry, kids. Ooh. We jumped from rock to rock to rock, across the river to where the woods began, where bunchberry grew under the pine needle path and trillium bloomed. Under the beech tree was a soft, rounded bed where a deer had slept. The bed was warm when I touched it. When spring rains came and the meadow turned to marsh, cattails stood like guards and killdeers called. Ducks nested by marsh marigolds, and the old turtle, his shell all worn, no matter how slow, still surprised me. And we have a turtle that lives out by our beehives with a shell just like that. We've named him Roland. Roland the turtle. Sometimes we climbed to the place Mama loved best, with our blueberry buckets and a chair for my grandmother, to the blueberry barren where no trees grew, the sky an arm's length away, where marsh hawks skimmed over the land and bears came to eat fruit, and wild turkeys left footprints for us to find, like messages. Where else, said my mama, can I see the sunrise on one side and the sunset on the other? Look at Grandpa's place. My grandfather's barn is sweet-smelling and dark and cool. Leather harnesses hang like paintings against old wood, and hay dust floats like gold in the air. Grandfather once lived in the city, and he once lived by the sea. But the barn is the place he loves most. Where else, he says, can the soft sound of cows chewing make all the difference in the world? And here's a barn cat down here, but that cow looks contented. Today we wait, him sitting on a wood-slat chair and me on the hay, until, much later, my grandmother holds up a small bundle in the open window, wrapped in a blanket made from the wool of her sheep, and my grandfather cries. I think Eli's about to get a little sister. Let's see what happens. Together we carved the name Sylvie in the rafter beside the names of grandfather and grandmother and my mama and papa and me. My sister is born, and her name is Sylvie. And there's Papa. He's carving Sylvie's name up there next to Eli's. Someday I might live in the city. Someday I might live by the sea. But soon I will carry Sylvie on my shoulders through the fields. I will send her messages down river in small boats, and I will watch her at the top of the hill trying to touch the sky. I will show her my favorite place, the marsh, where ducklings follow their mother like tiny tumbles of leaves. Oh, look at that painting. So here Eli has taken Sylvie, when she's still just a toddler, up to the top of Tuscarora Ridge, if you ask me, and that looks like the valley where we live, with Inwood going up into Martinsburg. That is a beautiful painting. All the places to love are here, I'll tell her, no matter where you may live. Where else, I will say, does an old turtle crossing the path make all the difference in the world? So kids, I think as we look at this book and enjoy all these beautiful paintings, especially this one that looks like where we live, that you might say to your family, why don't we go out and visit a favorite place? Because now you can still go outside if there's no crowds, and you can look around and find the places that you love. But remember, the place that's best to love is your own home. You can probably just go out in the backyard and look around there and find one of your favorite spots. So this is one of the things that we really enjoy here living in the valley, is the nature that surrounds us, but we also love our own home. So I hope you enjoy this, kids. They were beautiful paintings. So check in next time and we'll read another book. Bye.